Justice L.H. Gumi, now the MF Gumi, followed by the next in succession, Honorable Justice I.M. Buka. This trend we submit must continue. He was not careless in handling the affair as assigned by his predecessors. Thus, he could be entrusted with greater task and responsibility. Albert Einstein put it this way, quote, "Whoever is careless with the truth, a small matter cannot be trusted with important matters." End of quote. He studied the past to get insight to the future. I refer to Confucius, who said, "Study the past if you would define the future." End of quote. His Lordship let one know that his vision, his mission, and his values are stated in the handbook where he's pursued. I reproduce the vision, the mission, and the value as you have seen there on the program. His vision remains clear and in focus, hence the recorded achievement is account to the word of that American Army General who became United States of America Secretary of State, Colin Powell, when he said, quote, "A dream doesn't become reality through magic. It takes sweat, determination, and hard work." End of quote. It is the great determination and hard work of my Lord that has produced the achievement recorded within the brief period. My Lord, within the said period, built men. These are fellow judges, magistrates, Ada court judges, Sharia court judges, and administrators in the judiciary. That is the best legacy for a leader to leave. It is in affinity with an Indian proverb which says, if you are planning for 1 year, plant rice. If you are planning for 10 years, plant trees. My Lord has planted these people, and the inevitable harvest is the legacy created. We salute my Lord. He set out to achieve the visions, the mission, and the value with equanimity of mind, fortitude, doggedness, tenacity of purpose, not minding the challenges and oppositions ahead. He had in mind the words of the wisdom of the famous novelist Daniel Defoe in that book, Robinson Crusoe, when he said, quote, "I take my mind, the devil always built a child, the latter has the largest congregation." End of quote. Yes, my Lord threw the stone, and the ripples are the supportive, creative, and innovative brother judges who share this vision and their actualization. The body urges that this bond continue, and the new leader to continue on the same team spirit and build on it. My Lord is a born leader who knows his way and can show it. That is fitting squarely in the aphorism of the best author, John. A leader is one who knows the way and shows it. End of quotation. He was never afraid. He was never afraid to set out without any qualm of error or mistake. It has been said that the person who never makes a mistake never tries anything new. That is about Einstein. Well, I will skip the achievements since they have been, they are all contained there, which you have had. The last of those cases is what I just want to quote what my Lord said, in keeping with his thematic scope of criminal jurisprudence. And that is what he said in that case number 5, probably due to the absence of one of the prosecution witnesses who was said to be an international assignment at Darfur. The matter kept before any meaningful progress could be made. This is not good for our judicial system, and indeed the entire administration of justice. It's an attitude that must be avoided if the integrity of the present system is to be sustained in the eye of the public. End of quote. My Lord, it's just to add the icing now to say, Norma Posa, writing on He wrote a book on the jurist Lord Mansfield. In the book titled Justice is the Age of Reason, said, I quote, as a judge, but moral courage as well, end of quote. Permit me to put in place of Lord Mansfield, my Lord, Honorable Justice I.U. Bello, CJ. His analyst. Finally, on our own personal note, as senior advocate body, the already flawed factions and fightings among members of many branches of the Nigerian Bar Association in Nigeria. It is on the increase. This has not been the practice before years back. It's however a signal of the lack of discipline, control, greed, and egoistic leverages by some of our members. We must give peace a chance, and we must use to one another in order to achieve peace and fight a united battle and peaceful coexistence. We invoke disciplinary measures on members who are not prepared to abide, to be wary, coming to rescue or intervention, and grant in most cases conflicting order from the same judicial division in the same branch. This is because it stands scandalous and defeats the cooperation. But don't forget to include where he has failed too. And that a speech of this nature is usually full of praises, successes, encomium, and the rest without failures. To say the error of a leader or ruler, to see if he did well or failed woefully. After all, a king was weighed on a scale of balance to determine whether he performed. He was found balanced and I found wanting. Unfortunately, I've been in all. He's vibrant, valiant, humble, purposive, creative, devoted, available. The cardinal of the minimis, in a murder trial in Woolwich Crown Court in London, a mobile phone rang out. But as the judge vividly scanned the courtroom to locate at the primary, he said, I didn't think I had it with me today. We will miss you. We congratulate you. We congratulate your family. We provided the needed atmosphere for you. But with it sake, and its secret to a long life and happy life by authors on this note. For I'm speaking on behalf of the senior, we are sandwiched here and there. Be that as it may, my Lord. Thank you for the opportunity.
Please try to be very brief.
Thank you. My Lord, may I be establish protocol? It is a privilege and honor to be called to deliver this address on behalf of the Nigerian Bar Association, the Trinity Bar in the FCT, in celebration of a distinguished legal icon and one of the finest trailblazers, my Lord, the Honorable Justice Ishaq Usman Bello, the Chief Judge of the Federal Capital Territory High Court of Justice. My Lord, in hours from now, the very progressive judiciary, the FCT judiciary. My Lord, just like I will be craving my Lord the dead John's educational background, my Lord, that has been spoken to, has been addressed by previous speakers. My Lord, will however consider it pertinent that I will say a few things about my Lord's career as a judicial officer. To River Basin Development Authority as Company Secretary and Legal Advisor for 2 years, between 1993 and 1995. My Lord's appointment at the time was renewable for another 2 years. His Lordship, having spent the first 2 years, requested to be transferred to the bench, and he was posted to the magistrate of the High Court as head of the Federal. It may interest you to know that my Lord personally Because of the love he has for the bar, we always endear most lawyers and others who have had reasons to interact with him. My Lord is a living testimony that hard work, just on the street. My Lord, being a trailblazer, introduced digital recording devices, ensuring speed and accuracy in recording of proceedings. Production of the document management system, EDMS, which went fully operational. Record processes, comfort of their homes, among the legacies of his life, for which he will be remembered. Some of the Nigerian Bar Association Gowada branch, one of the things I have advocated for in criminal trials is the need for sentencing guidelines that will reduce such abuse of discretion. 15, the Criminal Justice Act 2017, the High Court of FCT Civil Procedure Rules 2018. There are many more I could say about my Lord that time and space will not permit. The Nigerian Bar Association celebrates, and we wish your Lordship a fulfilling and enjoyable retirement period. Your Lordship still looks young, radiant, and agile, and it will be safe to say my Lord is retiring but not tired. The three branches of the Nigerian Bar Association will continue to reach out to my Lord and even
a brief presentation by Chairman NBA Wari. Please quickly. Yes, sir. Book presentation.
Continue to rely and lean on the existing protocol being established. My Lord, there is a moral imperative not only in the nature of the compelling need to sustain the assemblage of jurists of thoughts, leaders, prominent members of the bar, bench, and academia, bearing their thoughts on various Nigerian of honor and in recognition of my Lord's exemplary leadership. The NBA Buhari branch in FCT thought it wise to dedicate the second edition of the Capital Bar Law Journal to my Lord. And may I, on behalf of the bar and the Trinity Bar, present this to the entire legal and the public. Thank you, my Lord.
Valedictory address by the Honoree, the Honorable, the Chief Judge, High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, my Lord.
My Lord, the Honorable, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Honorable Justice Ahmed Tanko, right. Your Excellency, Governors of Kogi and Akwa Ibom states here present, our own Governor, the Minister of the FCT, Justice of the Supreme Court, the Honorable, the President of the Court of Appeal, being represented by my brother, Justice of the Honorable, the Grand Cadi, and other members of the Judicial Service Committee of the NGC, the learned senior advocates of Nigeria, other respective chief judges visiting for the purpose of this event. By reasons of modesty, I skipped my brother judges. I will come back to them later. Your worships, the magistrates, may I, with high esteem, the Royal Highness is here present, particularly the representative of the Emir of Zozo, His Highness, Ambassador ambassador. And before I get into my speech proper, let me address the issue raised by the Lana Silk, Mr. Ezinho, on behalf of the senior advocates of Nigeria. I had already observed that when I got seated here, and if you had noticed, I called Anesha, my SA, to find out what happened when I saw you seated there. I asked, is it because of the judges that are here and then occupying the front line seats? And were the senior advocates, since I had gotten the reverse position, I would have directed adjustment in the sitting arrangement. But the deed has been done. It is not meant to slight you. And I hope you will see reason to forgive and forget. I have actually acknowledged what go. Members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, now I wish to singularly acknowledge my brother judges of this court, and you will see the reason for that in the course of delivering my speech, and singularly express gratitude to the presence of my Lord, the Honorable the Chief Justice of Nigeria. This is unique. It has never happened. But those who know will perhaps understand why. And we can say, even if he didn't come, perhaps this jurisdiction may differ the holding of the occasion until we see him here. We are not likely to order any other expertise, but we lay claim that you belong to this court because you left from here to the Court of Appeal and now as Chief Justice of Nigeria. So you are our own. We are as a right to claim that you should be here. But we're happy you voluntarily come without allowing any room for him to stage a demonstration. Let him be here, let him be here, carrying placards. So that's how we're very grateful, and I'm very much informed of the apology from the President of the Court of Appeal, who is also our own. She left from here to the Court of Appeal and now President of the Court of Appeal. So everybody should know that FCT now has the Chief Justice and President of Nigeria, respectively. We thank God for that. I am not going to bother you about my journey through the academic pursuit. I'm only going to take you through the experiences of life that I've gone through. I'm most grateful and feel really honored for the kind and generous who had spoken about me by all the speakers. I'm today discharging my last judicial function by presiding. They are the speeches you have made, so you should understand if later you are called upon to make further explanations. Today marks the end of a career which has spanned a period of 35 years from when I was appointed a magistrate in the year 1985. Now, as I said, I will give you experience of my life in this speech. I hope the time will permit. When I was in the Nigerian Law School, I saw recently in peace, the then director of blessed memory, Ibiranke, went around asking people, and you will soon appreciate better how this thing came. He said, wow, you want to be worshipped? I said, yes. He said, so be it, and I wish you well. And I think it has happened. Considering that, and that I have spent over half of that time on bench, I have reasons to thank Allah for His graciousness unto me. I have also had the good fortune to have had a wonderful family, outstanding teachers, priceless friends, and colleagues, both at the bar, who offered me their invaluable suggestions at the time and right place. I'll come back to this later. At this opportune moment, I look back at my life as a student magistrate, judge. A lot has been said about my profile. As such, I will not bore you with those details. Suffice to mention, however, that the expectations of a good judge are neither mysterious nor cryptic. They have remained the same for thousands of years and still abide to this day. Socrates captured this wisely when he described that a good judge is, and I quote, to hear courteously, to answer wisely, to consider soberly, and to decide impartially, quotation unquote. Now, I'm just particularly interested in commenting on courteously. In many occasions that I had cause to address judges and magistrates, I've always been very emphatic that we must not lose patience. Where a lawyer makes a mistake, you fling file at him. That is not courteous. Respect begets respect, just as I also admonish lawyers to show the same conduct. The job also comes with certain qualities such as insight, courage, firmness, fairness, alertness, virtuousness, and the gifts of sympathy and wisdom. In my sojourn on the bench, I had this in mind, and I tried as much as possible to leave out those qualities. I grew to become a chief judge, a position that must come with added qualities of patience and administrative acumen. In every administrative structure, patience is the key, because under tension or under sober moment, issues will arise. You have to accommodate, and sometimes smiles, as Fela would say, suffering and smiling. I'm so thankful to Almighty Allah for giving me opportunity to run this dedicated, forward-looking, and highly respected profession, and for bringing me to speak. Indeed, I always pray that if I am to come back to the next world, I want to come back as a lawyer. Only that the CJN has given a ruling that there's no clapping. I would have asked you to clap me at this point, but don't do that. There's contempt of court. Stare decisis. In a democratic country like Nigeria, the key attributes of the judiciary must be its impartiality. In several cases, I've seen the court take decisions against the state as well as for those I have delivered some myself. The position of a judge is an exalted one, which accords the country. He is expected to assert his judicial free partiality and to use all his skills to protect the rights of the individuals against lawlessness, arbitrary, or anything that distorts the good order and societal stability. I can state determinedly that in today's world, just as it was when I ventured into this profession, kind-heartedness and compassion are essential virtues, and I have striven to always keep that in my mind while discharging my duties. I also solemnly accept as true the saying that the greatest strength of the judiciary is the trust, reliance, and faith of the people in it. On my part, during my very active years as judge, which ends today, I had to live up to the expectation of a judge, and I have done the needful to build public confidence and trust. I had always kept in mind the words spoken in the glorious Holy Quran, which I quote. O you who believe, stand out firmly for justice, as witness to Allah, even though it be against yourselves, O your parents. your kin, be he rich or poor, Allah is better protector to both than you, in bracket. So follow not the lust of your heart, lest you may avoid justice. And if you distort your witness or refuse to give it, verily Allah is ever well acquainted with what you do. Quoting the verse, Surah An-Nas, verse 135. Additionally, I live with the immortal word of Mahatma Gandhi, which I quote: let the first act of every morning be to make the following resolve for the day. I shall not fear anyone on earth. I shall fear only God. I shall not bear ill will towards anyone. I shall not submit to injustice from anyone. I shall conquer on truth by truth and resisting on truth. I shall not put up with all sufferings. Quotation close. I'm hanging my ropes with the satisfaction that I discharge my duties in fear of God and to the solemn oath I had taken to do justice without fear or favor, affection or ill will. During this period I spent in the system, I have witnessed exciting courtroom battles as well as the joys and the pains radiated by litigants who seek to approach the court to plead their case in the odious quest for justice. I would like to say that whatever I could do as part of my duty or responsibility as a judge, I did it in accordance with my oath of office. My feelings at this moment and the thoughts that follow oscillate from nostalgia and gratitude to being overwhelmed and humbled as I reflect upon the last 35 years I spent on the bench at different levels. If my humble efforts have in any degree contributed to the preservation of justice and upholding the rule of law, I believe that I too have been rewarded by the honor and confidence you all have instilled in me. No man is an island, just as Mr. Ezinho said in alluding to quite a lot of Shakespearean and otherwise saying. No one is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. So did John Donne say in 1624. I came to appreciate these early as various people have been part of the story of my life, shaping and modeling me into what I am today. Others have assisted me in the discharge of both of my judicial duties and administrative functions, and to all I am eternally grateful. To begin with, I have had a lovely and cordial period of interaction with all my brother judges and colleagues, all of whom I must confess are of great insight, knowledgeable, and valuable source of inspiration. I have found each of you so much ingrained with care and affection, and sharing wonderful thoughts and lighter moments. In general, I've enjoyed the tremendous cooperation of all of you, my brother judges and other heads of court in all my endeavors in the discharge of my administrative and judicial functions. We were one big, happy and cohesive family where love flowed in abundance and affection, overcame strife. When I say overcame strife, I truly mean it. In this very jurisdiction, it does not matter whether you are from South, Southwest, or northern part of this country. Each one of us will be taking his tea or having his drink. He can rise or move around, come back, and continue without suspecting anything. To that extent, we have built a family and a culture of togetherness, which I believe will continue to grow stronger. Here I wish to place on record my gratitude to all my staff who have remained with me right from the time I started, some of them, to this date. I had experiences of being moved around. My first posting was at Kwali. I was the pioneer judge that opened Kwali, and they were there with me. When I came to the township, they were there with me. When I was asked to go and open the judicial division in Guagalada, they also followed me. And therefore, we have risen together, and today I am saying bye to them. They have all been supportive in the course of my work, but beyond that, they have shown understanding, and sometimes they have had to bear with my seldom volatile outbursts. They have made great sacrifices for me personally, and by extension, the system in general. I must tell you, anytime I was confronted with high-profile cases, the pages of papers, electronic media, making all sorts of comments, without consulting me, this group of my staff that have been with me will engage in fasting along with members of their families, prayers that may the Lord show me the way. And I think the way He has been shown to me. I'm grateful to them. They have all been dedicated, zealous, sincere, and hardworking, providing great services to me and this court. I take this opportunity to thank each of them from the bottom of my heart. Yesterday, they sent my SA to ask me they wanted to see me. And we sat down together. I was surprised. We talked, they said all the very emotional things about me. At the end, with some gifts. One of them that I will cherish is one of these chairs that you see the aged sitting under the mango tree with hand-woven cotton across it. And I have jealously guarded that, asked my driver to put it in my car. It's there in my bedroom lock. I will make sure when the time comes when I need to be under the mango tree, I will have that. For now, as Alice Izinho said, I still have pimples. Now coming to my family members whom I think I have suffered the most from my periods of absence due to official duties, or from whom I may have been distant due to the pressure of work. Though long gone, it is difficult to forget the lessons that my parents taught me in discipline, work hard, respect, and tolerance. They brought me up to be fair and be firm, but humble and compassionate. I firmly believe that the discipline they instilled in me laid in me the foundation for my entire career, with utmost faith I followed today. I had the fullest of cooperation from my wives and children, who were able to make the fine distinction between work and family, and took the decision never to interfere with my judicial functions. That paved the way for peace to exist. As Chief Judge, I had the privilege of interacting closely with various agencies, departments, and ministries of government. The focus of our interaction was never personal, but rather the improvement of justice delivery. Of all these bodies, I must single out some whose impact on me as a person and the court as an institution were profound. The Ministry of Justice was one of such ministries, under the stewardship of Bakar Malami SA. As Attorney General and Minister for Justice, the court, and for justice, the court, this is very good. I have enjoyed tremendous support from you and the ministry. I thank you for all your efforts to see that institutions in the justice sector work as well through your support to the Administration of Criminal Justice Monitoring Committee, and the other initiatives as the creation of a Department for Correctional Service Reforms. I can also never forget how you gave everything to ensure that I succeeded in my national assignment as chairman of the Presidential Committee on Correctional Service Reforms and Decongestions. of so many other competing interests in your office. I further recognize the committee's achievement as a best practice of cooperation with the ministry under your able leadership during the last few years. I would like to publicly acknowledge the professionalism shown by your good self, which ensured the implementation of most of the committee's projected activities, including several stakeholder engagements, the development of practice direction on custodial and non-custodial sentencing for courts in the FCT, and the construction of a model skill acquisition center for the inmates at the KP Correctional Service Center. Secondly, I want to place on record that our governor, the Minister of the FCT, Mohamed Musa Bello, has been a great host. From the period I assumed office as Chief Judge, the Honorable Minister has never relented in providing the necessary support to the court whenever we came calling. The Honorable Minister's ardor for justice is palpable, as we can see from his desire to have women and children center in the FCT. This is a discussion which we had severally, and I hope this dream is fulfilled before the end of your tenure as Minister and indeed our Governor. Let me take the opportunity to convey my admiration to the Honorable Minister of Interior, Alhaji Rabiu Aregosala, whose timely assistance and cooperation with the Ministry of Justice, the court and the Presidential Committee is leading far-reaching reforms, one of which is the passage of the Correctional Service Act 2020. This act has revolutionized the Nigerian Correctional Service, and history will surely make a positive note of this in your honor. As I noted earlier, other agencies of government played vital parts in the period of my stewardship, and as such, I say a big thank you to the police, the Inspector General of Police, Mohamed Adamu, and his men, and all other prosecutorial agencies, including the EFCC, the ICPC, and NATIP. I remain grateful for your vigilance and the very way you conducted yourselves in our courtrooms and in support of this very court. On the same tangent, the FCT Commissioner of Police, Mr. Balachiroma, has been extremely supportive of some of the reform initiatives that began during my tenure. We engaged efficiently when we started visitation of centers of detention under Section 34 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, and the reception we got from most of the police stations were welcoming. These included granting our magistrates access to even such detention facilities before the scrapping of that unit. I wish to especially recognize our development partners who have been very helpful in funding some of the reforms embarked upon during my tenure. A particular note is the Office of the Rule of Law Advisor to the Vice President, that is ROLAC, which is jointly funded by the report I was to become in life. In this regard, one man who saw this was one Mr. Joshua Bitiong. Now, Mr. Joshua Bitiong was my English tutor at Katsina Secondary School. He was also the career master of the school and patron of the drama club, patron of the debating club, patron of current affairs society, and I belong to all these clubs. I was even president of the drama club. So when we staged this play, I was showered encomiums at the end of the play by the elder man in Katsina. He figured me and said, "Bello, you must read law." I was in Form 3 then. That is JS3 now. And he kept on following. And at the end of the day, after my IJMB, he followed and said, "You must put law as your first choice." The first list for the year, my name was #1. And today, that is the story. Mr. Joshua Bitiong is from Kafanchan. He was my lecturer then. Kazama. He was my English teacher, who after that play insisted I must become a lawyer. And in my entire interaction with him after then, which was fatherly and inspiring, he did everything to encourage and to guide me. I must say it's also partly genetic, because my father was prosecuting and the then authority police. And those of them who are educated converted to the Nigerian police. He will also continue as a prosecutor. I'm glad that he lived to see me. That is Mr. Joshua Bition. I still visit him anytime on the eve of Christmas. I go there to see him. He's very aged. I truly see him as somebody that is lovable, and I love him. I will forever owe him a debt of gratitude. Also, I must especially mention Honorable Justice Ways, GCON, Chief Justice of Nigeria, retired. I recall that as a young magistrate, I got his lordship telephone number. He didn't know me then. I was in Zaria. He was then about to become the Chief Justice of Nigeria. So I gathered some courage, and I picked up my analog phone in my chambers as Chief Magistrate, because it was the prerogative of the Chief Magistrate to have the head of the phone in his chambers. So I had one. I gathered some courage and picked up my analog phone and dialed his number. In his characteristic, very simple. He answered directly in the most humble and amiable manner and listened to me patiently. I told him that I'm so person from Zaria, that I had applied for the post of Deputy Chief Registrar, and I understand invitations have started going around. I did not receive any. He said, okay, hold on. Luckily, Dodo is here as the CR, and he's sitting here at the front line. He discussed, and then he turned to me. He said, okay, we'll see what will happen. And by weekend, Justice Dodo retired, who was CR then, sent a message through Zaria Club. That was our convergence point when we were young. That I should come for interview. So I headed for Lagos. The day I went, my Lord Justice Ways was already here in Abuja to discuss his succession. He came in while I was answering my last question. My Lord Honorable Justice Bello was the chairman, Honorable Justice Akambi, and the host of a lot of them. 10 minutes after the interview, I went to congratulate him that I heard he would be the next. Before I could say a word, he said, congratulations, you have been appointed Deputy Chief Registrar of the Supreme Court. That was 10 minutes after the interview. I cannot forget this simplicity, which has influenced my life. As I finish talking about him, the lesson I learned is that simplicity too, and humbleness. When I was here as Chief Judge, a magistrate called me on phone saying, my Lord, I am pleading with you in case of any available house, I want you to allocate to me. I almost have the urge to say, why should you? Then I remember what I did to others. The lesson came and mellowed down, and of course when the house was ready, I had it allocated to her. Now what I'm saying is the young ones should endeavor to understudy the elders and learn lessons from them. That is the essence of this story, and of course to acknowledge the fact that something good came to me. After then, till date, His Lordship has been a father in all aspects of my life, both public and private, even in my family affairs. Words alone cannot experience my feeling of appreciation. I'm glad that the young man you gave, talking as if my Lord Justice was here. I'm glad that the young man you gave a chance to tread in your footsteps is today bowing out, happy and fulfilled. Now, even my appointment as a judge to this court, my Lord Justice Adejimo was the secretary covering AJC, that is the synonym of the NJC now. So he stumbled a letter written by late Justice Tahir Sali calling for nomination for appointment of judges to the FCT. I was in charge of administration. So Adejimo came to my office. He said, Bo, there's this letter, but because of your closeness to Justice West, you know you cannot go and lobby him. You know his attitude. I said, don't worry, I know how to handle that. So I had my prayers in the evening, prayed hard, and prayed I will meet my Lord Justice West alone. But I failed. I met him with Justice Belgori. I dropped myself, but I had already coined what I wanted to see. After salutations, I said, I'm here to see you. He said, you have to talk now, we're all brothers. My niece went cold, but there's someone correct. I said, sir, I'm here to tell you that I heard stories that Kaduna State is about to, judiciary is about to embark on appointment of judges. So what I'm asking from you is that in case they want me, I want you to say, no, you're not prepared to release me. He just laughed. He said, if they ask, they want you, I will release you because it's a progression in your career. I said, sir, but I am very much interested in going to bench, but I don't want to go back to Kaduna. I want to stay here. He said, okay, now that I know you want to go to the bench, the FCT CJ has sent a letter seeking nomination. I would recommend you. Within me, I was suspicious he read through me. But all the same, I have achieved what I wanted. I forgot that I didn't go with driver. I sat on the passenger seat waiting for my driver to come. I was getting patient, out of patience, getting annoyed. Then later, I realized I drove myself. So I drove back to Apo village where I was then, and Adejimo was waiting for me to hear the feedback. I told him the story, he slotted music, and we danced. So I'm very much grateful. So a blessed memory and great impact in my life too. Of blessed memory and great impact in my life too is Justice Shehu Usman Mohammed, former Chief Judge of Kaduna State. This is a very important story that I must share for the young girls too. 6 months after my appointment as a magistrate, the CJ came to Zaria. It was around 6:30. I went to his place where he was staying. He was about brought here. Outagri, you know, some of you who know Justice Shehu, he has this bulging eyes. When he looks at you, you will melt. But there's someone courage. I said, I'm here to see you. He said, okay, let's pray. After prayers, I said, I'm just coming. I noticed that as close as Ikara here is local government, there is no magistrate court. And I think there should be one. He looked at me, he said, all right, noted. When I get back to Kaduna, I will do something. And behold, when he gave back to Kaduna, he asked the then chief registrar, who was Sada Momini, to look for a courtroom and house for a court to be opened in that area. The chief registrar sent a letter to my chief magistrate, Mama Mukadas, of blessed memory, to do that. Unknown to Mama Mukadas of my involvement, he directed me to represent him to go to Ikara. When I went to Ikara, it was late Sayyid Zaria that was the sole administrator. And I presented the request. That day I went back with the report, with a house allocated and with a courtroom place. I filed my report to my chief, who submitted to the CR, and the CR raised a memo and placed to Justice Mohammed. There and then Justice Mohammed said I should be posted to be the pioneer magistrate of that court. Now, my lesson here is, no matter how small somebody is, if you are a leader, you should have listening ears to him. And this I have grown with, and I believe I don't need to say anything as far as jurisdiction is concerned. Even a cleaner can testify to that. And I'm grateful to these experiences that I garnered from these people. One that I can never forget, that this is one fundamental lesson in my relationship with his lordship is to always have a listening ear, even for your subordinates. This lesson has remained invaluable. In life, you develop friendships, but there is a friend who may stick closer than a brother. That, in summary, is my relationship with Alhaji Munir Jafaru MNI, Oya Fare Imazazo, who is present here. Words cannot express how grateful I am for your kindness, generosity over the years. Even when he was a lecturer, I was a student, I had the pleasure of using his office as my classroom. I didn't have to go to any of the classroom. And my other friends who are here, like Justice Adamu Bello, retired Justice of the Court of Appeal, Federal High Court, and many others had the advantage of joining me there to have the spoil of using his office. You can understand how close that relationship has been. That's why you're always, and words cannot express how grateful I am for your kindness, generosity over the years of our togetherness. He represents humility, large heart, a confident to me, and selfless. A very close friend of mine often says, in reference to my relationship to Yerima, Yerima seems to be pampering you as a father does his son. That's why you're always running to go to Zaria. I will smile and say, it is trust. It is built on trust, sincerity, and indeed great concern for one another. I am ever grateful to you for your leadership and guidance, just like Adamu Bello, who tolerated my youthful exuberance when we were classmates in ABU. I will take his car and go to places. Most people never even knew that it was not my car. Allah, appreciation is the highest form of prayer, for it acknowledges the presence of good wherever you shine the light of your thankful thoughts. Thank you so much for being there for me through thick and thin. I join you to pray that all your desires are fulfilled just as you helped me in mine. I have come to the difficult part, that is to say goodbye. This is to me a difficult part. My colleagues, quite a lot of them that I told that I'm not going to hold any valedictory session. I want to go quietly. They said, if you go that way, people will think you did live well with us, and there is no understanding. So they prevailed that I should have. I didn't hear that. I went to Baba West, and I told him that this is my feeling, and I'm not going to hold any valedictory session. I don't like looking at people and saying bye-bye. He said, you must do that. That is the tradition, and that is how it will go. And this is why I find myself sitting here today. It is sad, but we must realize that moving on with the rest of our lives starts with a goodbye. Okay, goodbye. I will end this.
Please, we need to announce that the dinner has been cancelled, and we'll announce the service points where we are going to hold a reception now.
The service points will be the office of my lord, the honorable, the chief judge, as well as the lawyers, the judges' lounge also on the fourth floor. Distinguished guests, my lords will join my lord in his chambers, as well as senior advocates. Then the other invited guests will wait on the foyer here, where lunch will be served. Thank you, sir.
Please, we have to wait until the honorable, the Chief Justice of Nigeria and my lord moves out before we follow, to be done one by one, please. Vice, court. Let's allow the BFs to. Let us be patient, please.
Thank you. Read that.